My name is Mrs. Flood.
The official listing for Doctor Who Season 2 Episode 4 Lucky Day is out now, as is the new edition of Doctor Who magazine. There's a whole host of news and little bits of information to look at and break down about these upcoming episodes, so let's just dive in. We've also got some really interesting comments from Russell T Davies. I'm not going to read everything from Doctor Who magazine, obviously go and buy it yourself and give it a read. It is a good edition this month, which previews Lucky Day, the story in the engine, and the Interstellar Song Contest. First up, let's take a look at the synopsis. Well, we've got two synopsi, one from the official BBC website where this page is listed. It reads, Doctor Who Season 2 Episode 4 of 8, Lucky Day. Now, we know this is a Dr. Light episode. Last year we had kind of two Dr. Light episodes. I mean, Dot and Bubble, the Doctor was present, but him and Ruby were barely in that episode. They could have just shot all their material on one day, which is probably what they did. Someone will know in Unleashed. But this episode, once again, like 73 Yards from last year, follows Ruby Sunday on Earth without the Doctor. The overarching plot thread of this season so far, and probably until it finishes, is getting Belinda home. Something's gone wrong with Earth, the TARDIS can't get back there, so Ruby and Unit are going to have to look after the Earth while the Doctor's gone. Russell talked, I think, in last edition of Doctor Who magazine about how this episode was originally called Meanwhile, because it's kind of like while the Doctor and Belinda are off on their adventures, which we will see, and they're going to meet a very interesting character who we'll come to when we discuss the cast list. The synopsis reads, Ruby Sunday faces life back on Earth without the Doctor, but when a dangerous new threat emerges, can Ruby and Unit save her new boyfriend, Conrad, from the terrifying Shriek? So, Conrad, this guy, played Prince Eric in the live-action Little Mermaid film. From Doctor Who magazine, I'm not going to go through all the previews and spoilers and stuff, but he runs a podcast, and I think it's pretty clear it's some sort of conspiracy podcast. There were a lot of people theorising as well. In the trailer, we've seen this shot of him with one of those, like, Ghostbuster-looking terror dog creatures right up in his face. He's got a cap that says Think Tank on. Now, apparently, in the episode Robot from the classic series, Think Tank is like an anti-unit conspiracy organisation. So if Conrad's got this podcast, it makes sense that he's a bit anti-unit. But then if he does have this podcast called Lucky Day, I don't quite get how Ruby hasn't... why would Ruby be with him if he is this conspiracy theorist? Maybe he's really deep undercover, and that's the only reason he's with Ruby. Doctor Who magazine actually provides more of a synopsis than the one on the official BBC website, so we'll give that a quick read as well. Ruby Sunday is back. She's got a loving family and a handsome new man in her life, but she misses her best friend, the Doctor. Then a savage alien creature from Ruby's past brings a terror to a remote English village, forcing Unit into a deadly battle that will push Kate Lethbridge-Stewart to her limits. From that synopsis alone, there's a lot of interesting things to break down. One, is this some form of returning villain from Season 1? If this is someone or something that Ruby has already faced, maybe it's a god, maybe it's something from the Pantheon. We've already had Mr. Ring-a-Ding, Lux, the god of light. Maybe this is another god that Ruby and Unit are going to have to face. It's also interesting that Kate Stewart is being specifically name-dropped as going through like a tough time here. We've heard, this is a minor spoiler, so skip ahead 20 seconds if you don't want, but Vicky Dello said in one of the Doctor Who audio commentaries from last season that Kate Stewart and Colonel Ibrahim are kind of going to get together or have some sort of romance arc, so I presume that's going to be kicked off in this episode. It's interesting as well that this one isn't written by Russell T Davies, it's written by Pete McTighe, who is also writing the Unit spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea, so all of these characters are going to have some nice thematic consistency throughout the two shows. There is also a quote in Doctor Who magazine from the episode where, I won't read the full thing, go and check out the magazine, but it's Ruby talking about like, I fought gods, I fought these things in the past, so she's clearly struggling to adapt to new life. I think she's going to be the focus and the central character. I also think the title Lucky Day ties in with like Conrad's podcast, but probably also Ruby's whole thing is like bad luck, like that's her not character trait, I suppose it's one of the only ones she had in season 1. No, it's one of Ruby's character things from season 1. Now let's take a look at the cast list for this episode. There's a lot of people. Obviously, we've got the Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa. We've got Belinda Chandra, played by Varada Sethu. We've got Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson. Then, here we go, we've got Conrad Clark, Ruby's new boyfriend. We've got all your unit team. We've got Kate Stewart, Shirley Ann Bingham, Colonel Ibrahim. Then, along with Ruby, you can expect her family. We've got Cherry Sunday, Carla Sunday, Louise Miller, Ruby's biological mother. We've got whatever the Shriek is. I also think, I don't know whether this is a conspiracy, but I think there's a possibility that the Autons or the Nestine consciousness or something along those lines is going to be in this episode. If we look at a bunch of the promo pictures we've seen, there's that weird green goo which is on Ruby, and Conrad seems to be stalking them in a flashback adventure. We know that the 15th Doctor and Ruby won't meet in this episode, but we are going to get a flashback of one of their previous adventures. So what if this returning foe that Ruby's already faced is the Autons? UNIT have faced them as well, so it makes sense that they'd go up against each other, but also we've seen these weird terror dog creatures, so I don't know how likely that is. But there have been a lot of mannequins in a bunch of these behind the scenes photos, so that's interesting to note. We've also got an actor playing a young version of Conrad, who I think is the character that the Doctor and Belinda meet when they go back. In the trailer we've seen they go to 2007. I think they meet a younger version of Ruby's boyfriend, which is basically confirmed here. We've got Conrad's mum as well. We've got a bunch of other characters. There's someone called Elsa, someone called Sparky, someone called Jack, someone called Michelle, someone called Alfie, someone called Derek, called Audrey. Then we've got 3 presenters. There's one from The One Show, one from BBC News, and I'm not sure where the other one's from, but they're all like actual TV presenters playing themselves. You know how like in Russell T Davies Era 1, you get those montages, like in World War III, you see Blue Peter on the TV. I think it's going to be a similar thing to that with whatever's going on Earth. Then you've got 3 influencers, you've got the Vlinks, and of course, you've got Mrs. Flood once again, who... Is she both Ruby and Belinda's neighbour? How's this all going to work? I'm very intrigued. I am also intrigued because by the time this video is out, you may have seen The Well. It's not out for me yet. I'm very intrigued as to how Mrs. Flood's going to appear in The Well, because Russell said she's in every single episode of this season, but I don't quite know where she fits within The Well. Either way, speaking of Mrs. Flood, we have confirmation from Doctor Who magazine that by the next edition, so by 4 weeks' time, we will know who Mrs. Flood is. We will have the grand reveal. This big mystery which has been going on since 2023, we will finally have answers to, and they'll be confirmed in the next edition of Doctor Who magazine, so let's hope that doesn't leak in advance. I also won't read all of Russell's comments. He's done like a letter for the showrunner, which he does each month, but I'll read this particular interesting bit from the end of it. You know how Ncuti kept saying he got to tick something off his bucket list and fight a villain that he's always wanted to fight? It turns out that that villain or villains are going to be the Orisha. I think this is going to tie in with the story and the engine. These are like gods, so possibly part of the Pantheon, possibly something else. Anasi, the trickster spider god, I think is probably part of this. So that's all pretty cool, and it's quite nice that Ncuti got his wish. It reminds me of how Capaldi was like, I want to face the Mondasian Cybermen, and then in one of his final episodes, he got to face them too. But there you go, that's the news update from today. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you want to stay up to date with all the Doctor Who news, please do remember to like, comment, subscribe and share. You know the drill, really helps me out a lot. Thanks for all the support recently, and goodbye.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Confused Adipose YouTube channel.
I will destroy you! She's not seen a single episode.
No, I've watched your episodes.
Keep these sonic screwdrivers.
What else am I saying about the film? Don't watch this one.